introduce Eric Gauthier. He is Mohawk. He is going to do our opening address and acknowledge the First Nation territory in which this ceremony is taking part on.
Thank you. Shegon, skenen koa. Yane washte ani. Ai hai, te wenine gara wenyo no kwao. Ai geage. Ai sheken sem traditional nation land. Hi, welcome to you all. My name is Eric Lightning Wolf Gauthier. I'm from the Iroquois Confederacy. I'm a Mohawk, and I'm honored to welcome you today on the Sim traditional territory. And pleased and happy to see so many people coming to celebrate with us today. And I wish for you and hope that you meet with all the nice staff, or RVCS now, and learn about all the good service they offer. So have a good day and enjoy. Ani, thank you.
Thanks. So next I'd like to welcome our MLA, Ms. Shirley Bond, to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. And as always, I'm delighted to be back in McBride and in the Robson Valley. And I want to thank Eric very much for the welcome. It's so important that we look at working in a constructive way with First Nations on whose traditional territory we have the privilege to live and to work and to serve. So we're very grateful for that. And I am really excited about today. I have always been and tried to have been as supportive as possible of what was RVSS, and now it is, Eric got it right, RVCS. I need to make sure I get that correct. One of the things that I've come to learn in my time as an MLA and in public service through the school board prior to that is, it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how big your community is or how small. All of us require support at one point in our life, whether it's some form of support for families or for single parents, for women or men who are fleeing sexual abuse, people who are frightened and who need our support. It doesn't matter where you live. And so that's why the services that are being provided throughout the Robson Valley for decades, actually, are so necessary and important. But what I'm really excited about today is that there has been a very strong foundation built, but we're at a place now where we get to expand those services to grow, and we have a fantastic new leadership team. But I do want to say thank you to the people who've come before, because we would not be in this position without many of you who've been part of this process here and in Valemount. And this is the chance to build on that great foundation. And we need to see that as a positive and constructive thing. It's not about moving away from what's been done, it's how do we make it even better. And that's the chance we have to do. I think that branding does matter, and connections through calling it community services, it does help us on a provincial level. So that is a very wise thing that's been undertaken. So I simply want to congratulate everyone, and I want to thank you for being part of recognizing that all of us need help. Doesn't matter where we live. Our geography shouldn't be the determining factor for the kinds of support services that we need. And in fact, in many ways, they're probably even more necessary in small communities where people know each other. So congratulations. Thank you for the very good work. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what's going to come next. One thing I know is Lena's pretty amazing about being in contact and talking about the important things that she's thinking about with her team as we move forward, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you for having us here today on this beautiful fall day as we celebrate how we can better support families here in the Robson Valley. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
Sorry. Get out of there. No. I'll first address, people said, why are we doing a name change? What's the difference? Well, I think that when I first came here, there was a stigma that you could only access service if you were in crisis. That's not the case. Last year alone, we served over 2,400 community members within the Robson Valley. We cover a 644 kilometer radius. We have an office here in McBride and one in Valemount. And we knew that we needed to do something that people understood. We're here to be preventative. We're here to help our community, not just people that are in immediate crisis. We're here to help everyone. So we wanted this to be an obvious statement by changing our name. It also allows us to apply to belong to the BC Federation of Community Services, which puts the Robson Valley provincially on the map. So we know right now our focus is doing what we've always done well, but we also we know we need affordable housing, we know we need supportive housing, and we know we need to do better programming for our children and youth so that we can it's a recruitment strategy to keep people coming to the Robson Valley and staying here. But I really want to thank our community partners. It would be foolish of me to say that we did this on our own. Since coming in November of last year, I have had an outstanding amount of community support from the leaders in this community. People that I didn't even know willing to pick up a phone and come alongside. Dan is one of them who we were both new and let's partner, let's figure this out for kids. So I really thank everyone for being here and being a part. Welcome to RVCS, and we look forward to growing with you. Now we can eat. Thank you.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready
Okay,
now.
count it down.
One,
Two, three, cut! Yay! I know exactly. Thank you all for
We're here with Jackie Edwards, who is the outgoing president of Robson Valley. Well, I guess you were Robson Valley Support Services since we're here on a special day.
That I started off when it was Robson Valley, the Homemaker Society.
So how long?
92. 82.
Okay. So that's what, 20, they're almost 30 years, eh? 26?
36.
36. Okay. Wow, that's a long time. So you have seen a tremendous amount of change. What can you say about the evolution of RVHS to RVCS?
Whatever it was, yes. Okay, originally we started off as just being a homemaker society, so we just did the home care with the community aides, and then we morphed into doing the mental health worker, and eventually just keep morphing into more and more services from there. And then we lost the homemakers to Northern Health, and we just continued with all the other services and expanding them.
Right, so now you offer a tremendous range of services for people just who need just general help to crisis help, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And what would you say is the biggest change that you've seen in your time, in your 36 years? Don't want to age us all here, but what would you say is the biggest change?
I think that just in the last little while becoming far more visual to both communities, getting a better response from the community partners towards Robson Valley Support Society, Robson Valley Community Services. We've just been becoming bigger and more visual to the communities.
And how has your personal experience been? That's a long run for anyone to be involved with one organization.
Well, originally when we first started, it was very simple. Our meetings were 20 minutes long, and if it went over that, I used to get heck from one of my board members. But since then, it's become far more involved, and I just think it's time for me to step down and let somebody else become involved.
Well, it's a tremendous amount of great work that you do here, both in McBride and also in Valemount, and that's kind of unusual too, to have a group headquartered in one area that can service both and do it so well.
Yes, we haven't done Valemount well over the past few years, but it is definitely improving, and we're very pleased about that.
But I want to thank you on behalf of Valemount for all the great work that RVSS has done over the years, and thank you for your great work on the board and as president.
Thank you.
Make it work today.
Well, we're here with Shirley Bond, who is the MLA for Prince George-Valemount, and we're here in McBride for a very special opening. This is the opening of the Robson Valley, well, rebranding, I guess, of Robson Valley Community Services. So Shirley, welcome to McBride.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here on a beautiful fall day. It was a lovely drive today.
It was beautiful. The sun finally showed up for us, and it's nice and beautiful day today. So what can you say about the Robson Valley Support Services and Robson Valley now Community Services and their work in our region?
Well, I think one of the things that I've always been impressed about, and today is about, I think, building on a great foundation that's been set here in the Robson Valley. Robson Valley Support Services did a fantastic job for decades, supporting individuals, especially those who were in crisis, but also reaching out to others who need, some type of support. Today is about a rebranding. It's about broadening the service, broadening the partnerships, and making sure that people who live here in the Robson Valley know that there's a place to go. And I think one of the most important messages, it's not just about when you're in crisis. It's about those needs you might have as a family, as a single parent, services for young children, housing issues, employability issues, all of those kinds of things. So I'm very supportive of the rebranding effort to look at a broader perspective here, excited about what can happen, and recognize as an MLA how important it is to have these services available locally.
Right, and I think it's very appropriate that they made the change to community services. They've always done that, but to recognize that in the name. I was just speaking with Jackie Edwards, the outgoing president, talking about how this is one of the rare groups that services both Valemount and McBride and the region as well, and does it very well.
And I think that's a very important point. It's one of the organizations that works collaboratively to look after the entire Robson Valley. And I think that's really important in small communities. When you have limited resources, you need to think about the best way to serve the people who live in the region. So you're right, that's always been a very impressive part of the program. I think the other thing that from my perspective is important is that this now aligns the organization with a provincial association. And for organizations like this that are always struggling to find core funding, how do we find support for important programs in small rural communities? I think being connected at that provincial level will also be important. So today is a day to celebrate the good work that has always been done, but to look at how we build on that success and find new and innovative ways to support the people in the Robson Valley. I should say that one of the things I've heard a lot about over the last year or so is the need for services for children like childcare, all of those early learning type programs. So I think there's been a renewed emphasis on that. So from my perspective, I'm always pleased to work with the organization, with the board, and certainly the staff here. So today's a good day for the Robson Valley. I want to thank the people that have led this organization, both past and present, and I certainly commit to working very closely with them in the days ahead.
Great. Well, thank you again for coming, and have a beautiful day and enjoy your trip back on this lovely fall day with all the beautiful colors.
I certainly will. I feel very privileged. I tell all of my colleagues I represent the most beautiful riding in British Columbia, and I mean that very sincerely. So thank you. I'm looking forward to my drive home.
Well, we're here with Lena Thompson, who is the Executive Director of the Robson Valley Community Services on the special day of rebranding. So Lena, can you tell us why we're here?
Well, we're here to kind of celebrate our community partnerships that have helped us get to where we are today. So we've rebranded from Robson Valley Support Society to Robson Valley Community Services, and we just really wanted to thank our community partners in the McBride area, and then in November we will be doing an open house celebration for Valemount office as well.
Okay, well, I guess the obvious question is, why the change?
Well, what I found when I came here in November is that people identified the support society as only being able to access if you're in crisis. And we really wanted to tell the community that we're here for all purposes to help strengthen and connect our community members. So we cover 644-kilometer radius in the Robson Valley, and the Canoe Valley. We support all the residents living there. And so we wanted to just make that an obvious statement, which is why we rebranded.
Well, it's certainly obvious to everyone the great work that you do. I wonder if you could tell people, just kind of give us a breakdown for those who are not familiar with all of the services, because even I, on a daily basis, am surprised to hear about another service that you offer. So can you kind of run through the main services that you offer?
Sure. So we pride ourselves in being able to offer services literally from 0 to 99 or older. So right now we're thrilled that in the McBride office we've licensed our preschool, which starts on Tuesday. So we'll have that preschool service. We do infant development, we do supported child development, family support, child and youth mental health. We have the Better at Homes for Seniors program. We have Work BC here in the McBride location. I'm sure I'm missing a ton. We also have adult literacy. So we have a wealth of programming that's available, and we're always expanding. And really our goal again is to support and be proactive to assist the community with the needs that they have.
I think one of the things that you said during your opening remarks was with regards to making sure that people understand that you're not just a crisis service, that you're available for other things as well.
We absolutely. One of the things that we have done very well is to assist women and their children who are experiencing or at risk of experiencing violence. But we cover so much more than that. We don't see supporting a client as an isolation. We know, for example, with employment services, there often comes, there can be housing concerns, daycare concerns. So we really want to pride ourselves in offering a continuum of support services and information to new residents. So it's really about supporting and connecting our communities across the valley.
I think as I was speaking with MLA Shirley Bond, we were talking about how difficult it is and how rare it is for one organization to be able to serve such a large region. What are the challenges you find as Executive Director to be able to work with everyone in this region?
Well, really it's bringing brand awareness. I think one of the things that I love about the North, but what I found most frustrating about being new to the North, is that work just gets done, but people often don't know what each other is doing and how we can support each other and connect. Rather than be a competitive process, we really want it to be a collaborative process with our community partners. So that's something that I think is the biggest challenge, is working collaboratively. So I'm hoping today is the first start in bringing that awareness and that collaborative approach. And the other is just the how big of a territory we cover. So again, 644 kilometers, Dome Creek, Alberta, BC Alberta border. So it's quite a large territory. The challenge in the north is the winter driving conditions. So we're very happy that our new website will have a virtual appointment feature where people that cannot get to the office can then have their appointment with their worker virtually right off our website. So we're trying to solve the problems kind of one at a time, and we're pretty happy with our growth. Last year we served over 2,400 clients living in the valley.
Wow, that's great. And one of the things that MLA Bond was talking about was that the name change, the rebranding, reflects a change to be more in line with provincial. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So our next step now is to, we've already been in contact with the BC Federation of Community Services. And so now that we've rebranded to a community service, then we can apply now to belong to the BC Federation, and that really puts the Robson Valley on the map. So when people anywhere research community services, then we will come up as the community service for the valley.
Great. And what's next? What's your next big project? Because I know this was a big one, so what's next?
Our next big project, well, I think my team needs just a little bit of time to breathe. But we really realize that we need supportive housing in McBride, and we hope to partner with existing agencies that are looking at housing. We definitely need a supportive transition house for women and their dependents who are fleeing domestic violence. And we really feel like we need more services for families. So licensing the daycare is the first step, but we know we need to do more for young families to get people to come to the Robson Valley, but more importantly to stay and to raise their families. We definitely need it. We see it as a community need and not just an agency need.
Great. Well, time for one last plug. Can you give us the website address and the phone numbers both in McBride and Valemount?
Sure. So RobsonValleyCommunityServices.org. Now I'd have to check because we just changed our number and I don't want to give anybody the wrong one. We are doing a centralized line, so I can get back to you with that number, but it will be posted on the website for sure. And I just want to give thanks to the McBride Community Forest for helping us with today. Again, I think it's a step in the right direction with partnerships, and they were fabulous about helping with the food for today.
Well, Well, it's a great turnout, and I see the students under the Live Different program were here doing the barbecue.
So all the proceeds from the barbecue, Robson Valley Community Services and McBride Community Forest each partnered to pay for it, and then we will be giving that money to the Live Differently group to help them with their initiatives next year in Mexico.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on the rebranding. It looks wonderful, and best of luck in the future, and just keep doing the great work you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, no one told me there's going to be a wedding here today. Let's see you do this without spilling it. There you go.
I've not had breakfast yet.